Good morning, friends. Important video. As we all know that Union Budget 2022 has proposed lot many changes in CGST Act and which were made the part of Finance Act 2022. Now these are being notified from 1st of October 2022. Among all these changes, the important one, seamless flow of credit GST input tax credit versus stringent condition and restriction for availing credit by the buyer or recipient of goods or services. When GST got started from July 1, 2017, there were 4 conditions to avail GST input tax credit. Buyer or recipient should have tax invoice copy, first one. Buyer or recipient must have received goods or services. Third one, his supplier must have paid taxes subject to section 41 either through e-cash ledger or through e-credit ledger. So even buyer has paid the amount to the supplier and supplier has not deposited the tax, then that may be one of the conditions that credit would be denied for the buyer or recipient. I made another video on this, watch that other video as well. Fourth condition, as a buyer, as a recipient, you are filing regularly your GST return. These were the 4 conditions. Fifth condition got introduced from 1st January 2022, prospective, that whatever credit is being availed by the buyer or recipient must be matched with GSTR 2B of recipient. So whatever supplier is furnishing outward supply in a GSTR 1, which is auto-populated in GSTR 2B for the recipient buyer. So this credit availed by the buyer or recipient in 3B must be matched with GSTR 2B. It is a condition introduced from 1st January 2022. Sixth condition, which was the part of Finance Act 2022, now got notified from 1st October 2022, is that the credit which is auto-populated in GSTR 2B for availing credit should not be restricted as per substituted section 38 of CGST Act. यानी पहले आप अपने 5 कंडीशन को सेटिस्फाई कीजिए. आपके पास टैक्स इनवॉइस होनी चाहिए, रिसीट ऑफ गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज, आपके सप्लायर ने टैक्स का पेमेंट कर दिया हो, एंड बीइंग बायर आप अपना जीएसटी का रेगुलर रिटर्न भर रहे हैं. और 5वीं कंडीशन फ्रॉम 1st जनवरी 2022 आपने जो क्रेडिट अवेल की वो 2B से मैच होनी चाहिए. 6th condition, which is the part of Finance Act 2022 notified from 1st October 2022, is the credit which is auto-populated in GSTR 2B should not be restricted. And section 38 now saying the details of inward supplies which is auto-populated in your GSTR 2B, it will be divided into 2 components. So 2B would be saying it is available. So whatever outward supply furnished by the supplier in a GSTR 1, which is auto-populated in GSTR 2B for the recipient, it will be clearly showing this credit is available. Section 38 subsection 2 clause B is very important and worth noticing. What it's saying, details of supplies on which you want to avail credit, recipient, buyer want to avail credit, that may be restricted wholly or partly. यानी बायर जो क्रेडिट लेना चाहता है उसकी क्रेडिट आइदर होली या पार्टली रिस्ट्रिक्ट कर दी जाएगी फॉर एनी आउटवर्ड सप्लाई furnished by the supplier under section 37 subsection 1. Now they have given 6 restriction buyer की credit को, and he cannot avail wholly or partly if his supplier. So 6 restriction मैं आपको बताने वाला हूं. His supplier has taken a new registration and for the specified period credit would be restricted to the buyer, to the recipient. So supplier ने नया registration लिया and for specified period it may be that buyer's credit, recipient credit, even though auto-populated in 2B, stated to be, it is not available either wholly or partly. So there are the 6 restrictions, and these restrictions are coming because of fault of the supplier. जो supplier आपको supply कर रहा है उसके fault के लिए buyer को credit restrict कर दी जाएगी. फर्स्ट वन, एंड दैट टू फॉर स्पेसिफाइड पीरियड. सो जिसने नया रजिस्ट्रेशन लिया, जो सप्लायर है, फॉर स्पेसिफाइड पीरियड अगर उसने आपको इनवॉइस रेज की है बायर को, तो बायर को क्रेडिट फॉर स्पेसिफाइड पीरियड नहीं मिलेगी. इट इज टू सेफगार्ड. कई सप्लायर हैं जो फ्रॉडुलेंट रजिस्ट्रेशन लेते हैं एंड क्रेडिट पास ऑन करते हैं, उनको रोकने के लिए. सेकेंड रिस्ट्रिक्शन, इफ सम सप्लायर हु इज डिफॉल्टिंग इन पेमेंट ऑफ टैक्स and his default continues for specified period, then again another restriction, buyer's credit, recipient credit would be denied. He can't avail wholly or partly. Third, if supplier is showing his outward supply and corresponding output tax in GSTR 1, and that is exceeding with the GST paid by GSTR 3B, and this difference is beyond the specified limit as prescribed. यानी किसी सप्लायर ने अपनी आउटवर्ड सप्लाई और आउटपुट टैक्स GSTR 1 में दिखाया, मान लीजिए 10 लाख रुपए का, पर उसने पे किया 8 लाख रुपए GSTR 3B से, and this is exceeding beyond the specified limit as may be prescribed. That may be another restriction कि बायर को क्रेडिट नहीं मिलेगी. इस सप्लायर्स फॉल्ट. फोर्थ, if supplier has availed credit in its GSTR 3B and that is exceeding the credit as per GSTR 2B, and this is exceeding beyond the specified limit as may be prescribed. अगर सप्लायर ने क्रेडिट अवेल की 3B में and that is exceeding the credit coming in GSTR 2B and it is beyond a specified limit as may be prescribed. चौथी restriction, पांचवी restriction, if supplier is defaulted in complying with the provision for payment of tax as per section 49 subsection 12 of CGST Act. So Rule 86B, you would be knowing, came from 1st January 2021. Now it is being backed by this provision, 49 subsection 12. So where the rule is ultra vires for which Lotman edit petition is being filed, we can always say and debate that rule are ultra vires and definitely beyond the provision of law. For the region, there was no corresponding provision which is now being notified. 49 subsection 12. And what is this 49 subsection 12? Rule 86B, that taxes which are being paid either through e-cash ledger or through e-credit ledger, but there is restriction prescribed for utilization of e-credit ledger in excess of 99%. So compulsorily 1% to be paid in cash. That is the Rule 86B. So he has to comply this provision now, supplier. If he is not complying and a fault exists, buyer's credit, recipient credit can be denied. And last restriction, that any other specified restriction which may be prescribed in future. So now we started with 4 conditions in section 16 subsection 2 for availing credit. 5th got added from 1st January 2022. 6th was the part of Finance Act 2022, now notified from 1st October 2022, and this 6th condition is prescribing 6 restriction for the buyer, for the recipient, that his credit can be wholly or partly denied for the fault of supplier, and 6 restrictions are being prescribed that for these specified restriction on the part of supplier, credit would be denied to the recipient. Now this is being notified, but important to note here that certain percentage, they are saying for the specified period registration taken, buyer will not get credit, default in payment of tax, and that continue for specified period. Difference of liability GSTR 1 and 3B on the part of supplier, that to beyond specified limit. Difference of credit availed in 3B versus 2B, and that is exceeding specified limit. These specified limit or period not yet prescribed, यानी ये प्रोविजन तो नोटिफाई कर दिया, लेकिन इनने वो लिमिट जो स्पेसिफाई होनी चाहिए वो अभी तक इनने प्रिस्क्राइब नहीं की. सो जब लिमिट प्रिस्क्राइब करेंगे देन इट इज गोइंग टू बी एप्लीकेबल. बट आयरनी इज, आप देखिए जीएसटीएन कॉमन पोर्टल पे जाइए, उस पोर्टल पे ऑलरेडी ये लिमिट और रिस्ट्रिक्शन डाल दी गई है. अब ये 10% है, 20% है. As per rule, it must be notified, which is not yet notified. So एक डिस्कनेक्ट मैं कई बार डिस्कस करता हूं आपसे कि पोर्टल पे तो आपने अप्लाई कर दिया जीएसटीएन पोर्टल पे, बट कॉरेस्पॉन्डिंग जो बैकिंग होनी चाहिए, एक्ट में प्रोविजन नोटिफाई किया आपने 1 अक्टूबर 2022 से, और वो लिमिट आपको अभी प्रिस्क्राइब करनी है बाय वे ऑफ रूल, बट जीएसटीएन पोर्टल पे ऑलरेडी ऐसी लिमिट डाल दी गई है. बट माई सबमिशन, दीज आर सपोज टू बी नोटिफाइड बाय वे ऑफ रूल, देन ओनली इट इज हैविंग बैकिंग whatever is being done on GSTN common portal. To summarize, we started with seamless flow of credit to the buyer, to the recipient. That was the object and preamble of Constitution Amendment Act 2016. But we have seen over a period of time, lot of conditions and now restrictions are making it stringent condition to avail credit by the buyer or the recipient of goods or services. And his credit is being denied for the fault of supplier. So this is what the irony, whether we are really getting seamless flow of credit, which was envisaged as a preamble and object clause of Constitution Amendment Act 2016 for introduction of GST in India. These are stringent and we have to be careful. So time has come, know your supplier. Watch my another video. That credit is now going to be dependent on your supplier who is a tax compliant. So two-way communication GST return system is being done away with. It is all dependent on supplier, and supplier need to be tax compliant. Watch my other video. And these are the provision which I stated, condition and restriction for credit to be availed by the buyer, recipient of goods or services. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Thank you very much.